Welcome back to the David's Door podcast. This episode is about grief, which is something I've been getting asked a lot about recently, especially going live on TikTok, which is I am David Christensen or David's Door. When I go live on there, I usually answer questions about the topics that you see on this podcast, or if you've been following me, most likely from my content, you see the content that I make. A lot of people ask me questions down the road of how I process things, how I let go of anxiety, these types of things. And recently, especially very recently, grief has been a question that has been circling around. And it was interesting that it started circling around right when the 2-year anniversary of my dad's passing passed by, which was March 27th, which is when I'm filming this. You'll be watching this probably on a Friday. But that reminded me, I literally had to go through the experience of processing my grief for the day, because on this day, there's another weight to it, at least in what I carry within myself, because it was a very profound experience for me losing my father when he passed, because to me growing up, and I don't know if you've lost somebody that you loved dearly or somebody you were really close to or something of that sort, it's not easy, it's not fun, but it was. I lost my mom actually when I was 6 years old. She passed away 3 days after my birthday, October 23rd. But it was one of those things where I was still very young, wasn't really here yet. I was still learning to be like human, just playing around. I think I was 6 years old. I have some memories, but me and my dad, we went through so much together, so many life-changing experiences, and he was always there. He's always my rock, always my superhero, somebody I looked up to. He was the hardest worker in the room all the time. He would do what needed to be done for me and my sister. I have 3 older brothers as well. Their story is much more unique. It's their story, and I let that be. But it's one of those things where we went through in and out of foster care, sleeping on couches. Me and my sister had to live with friends at some point when everything was just so... it was always like we were scrambling to stay above water. But in those times, even though it was dark and we didn't have very much, I was cloaked in love. He loved us unconditionally, no matter my mistakes. He would always encourage me, convince me, because I was doubting myself, to work hard, that I can do anything, that I can make dreams come true. I had this tattoo on my chest. I have a post about it on my Instagram where I talk about it. But it's one of those things where this person in my life, this superhero of my life, I used to feel that when he would be gone, I wouldn't be able to go forward. I wouldn't be able to move forward in my life. And I thought it would break me, it would crumble me. I'd be the type of person who would just run out into the woods and, make a huge deal out of it. And I was really passionate about that at one point. I was like, he cannot be gone. There's no way. But when it happened, it was really interesting because in the moment when of loss, everybody probably experiences this very differently. But for me, it was like, as a person who feels everything, I suddenly felt nothing. It was a very interesting shift because I didn't feel broken. I didn't feel it was just like my nervous system stopped. I don't think it was, looking back, I don't think it was ready to handle the scale of that feeling that could have hit me. Either that or it went right through, but it took me a while to really sit in it and be like, whoa, this is real life, this is weird. And this is what I did to process it, and this is actually what I did similarly to process it this time for the 2-year anniversary, because I noticed it was a very intentional moment that could have been something I could have easily avoided. I could have easily procrastinated or pushed things off or done something else and not really have sat with that. But this is what people normally do, and tell me if you relate to this, but we usually avoid it, suppress it, or just get completely consumed by it. So people are avoiding it, compressing it, putting things over it, or just to get consumed where it completely devastates their life, which is what I thought was going to happen to me. So here, I took out I have a few shifts here for you. what I realized in the moment, looking back, it took me a second, but I realized it in the moment that grief isn't actually something we should run from. It's not something we should compress. It's something we need to allow. So the sadness, the weight of it, the darkness of it, the coldness of it, it's not meant to be fought. It's meant to be experienced, and the pain actually comes from all the resistance. Imagine trying to hold a door shut from this ridiculous amount of energy called life, reality, pushing its way through you, and you're just trying to hold it and fight it back endlessly, and you're getting exhausted and tired, and it's making things hard. Because you know if you let go, you're going to have to feel all of that. And I noticed in that moment, I said, I don't like being in pain. And the person I love wouldn't want me to be in this pain. They wouldn't want me to stay like this. They wouldn't want me to feel like this. They love me. I loved them. For you, I loved him. He loved me. He wouldn't want me to sit in pain. So whoever this person is for you, or if you thinking you might have to process it soon, allow the feelings to be received. That's where peace is found. Peace is on the other side of the feeling. And it sounds crazy in the beginning, it sounds crazy right now, but trust me. So I have a set of tools to give you, inner tools to give you to help you conquer this, or quote unquote surrender to this, allow this, or understand this. So my first tool is to let it move through you. So what I do is I sit there. I find myself a safe space, usually a quiet spot. For me, it could be a car or something like that. And this really works for me, and I take the truck or the car or whatever it is, and I drive to a parking spot somewhere that I feel, safe, not necessarily super hidden at least, but, I'm not trying to get seen, and I sit there, and a lot of us start to try and avoid the memories. We start to try and avoid the thoughts, and what I did is I turned on songs that reminded me of him. I turned on music that triggered memories, that triggered thoughts, that triggered experiences. And I thought of it as a time to, as my inner being, as the observer itself, to trigger these memories, to give myself those memories and that experience on that day, like ritualistically, allowing myself to process them over and over, because now, in the beginning, it feels like a heavy weight of sadness. You haven't learned how to transfer your love into those memories yet. We'll get there. Your love is trying to escape into the 3D, but the conduit that love went to is no longer here to receive it. But they are still in the places where you've merged with them in your memories and your experiences. And I'm not going to say the past, but in all those moments that were shared, that's where the energy still exists, which means your love can be poured into those. However, you must go and process those memories. You must allow them to show up. In the grief, I almost skipped it. This is where you get into tool number 2, which is shifting your grief into love or gratitude. So looking at these memories, being grateful that you had those moments in your life to be able to look back on to remember them. Being grateful that you can sit there in those memories and remember them while letting the tears flow, because crying is not a bad thing. It's just the thing that happens when you process emotions and we relate them to memories. It's an experience. So when you sit there with the memories, the emotions process through you because they meant so much to you. And you get to sit there and you turn that sadness, that darkness, that weight, you process the emotion, you allow yourself to be grateful that you're able to feel this type of love for this type of person, or whatever it is in your life. It could be an animal. It could be like, your best friend, pet, type thing, best friend, whatever, anything in your life, anyone. And it's one of those things where you have those moments with them. So look at them fondly. Pour your love into them. And it really reminds us, to live every day like the memories you have with that person are all you'll have later on. It really makes you appreciate that more. So turning your loss into gratitude, your sadness into love. Tool number 3 is to just remember that you are not the emotions. That really helps me, because you can get caught up in the emotions. You can get lost in the story of what the emotions are telling. But the idea is we are simply observing these feelings. We are sitting with them, experiencing the memories that are processing with the feelings. And you get to sit there like watching your favorite movie in your head, of all your favorite moments with that person, that dog, that cat, that animal, whatever, that person in your life. You get to look back fondly and feel these feelings because you love them. And I give myself space to do that. Tool number 4, look, I skipped a little ahead, sorry, my bad. This is something I actually do, so to me it all unfolds naturally. So putting it into tools and steps is a very foreign concept, but I am doing my best to learn structure. So redirecting it into appreciation. You can speak to them. So what I do is I speak out loud. Sometimes I'll thank them. I'll thank him. I have a picture of him that I carry around. I look at a picture of him. I allow myself to just remember his face, remember his voice, remember his... it's the time where I'll look at the text messages we've sent. It's a time I set aside to process all the beautiful moments I was able to experience with him. And that's what I do. And I do that and I process it until there comes a moment when as long as you're staying back and you're remembering you're not the emotions, you're just processing these emotions and you're getting to experience these memories and these thoughts and these just the feeling of those experiences you had with that person. Just sit with them, process them, allow them without judging yourself. Because a lot of people like to try and find something that makes them feel like it's their fault. It's like, oh, I regret this, regret that. No. What happened. The memories you have are what you get. Appreciate them. Your experience, they wouldn't want you devastated either. They wouldn't want you devastated. They would want you to be able to move forward. Someone who truly loves you, who you loved. They wouldn't want you to carry that weight all the time. Of course, remember them. They live in your experience. They live in your memories. But when you go to those memories, bring love, not sadness, because they're there with you. I see it as a beacon. When you go into those memories, it's like time. I view time as non-linear. If you agree or not, it's okay. But I view time as non-linear. So when you look back on those memories, you get to experience them again, and they are there in that experience as well. So going in through those memories and being able to process them over and over, whenever these times come up, which could be ritualistic, that's why we have dates, we have cycles to remember them. Allow yourself to. So another thing to process here, what I want to take in, I want you to know you do not need to get over your grief. You just learn how to carry and maneuver differently. You learn how to carry it and maneuver with it differently. There we go. Your grief is something that's going to come up. You're going to learn how to sit with it, alchemize it, change it to love, notice it, appreciate it, and then have gratitude, and then have the experience and move forward. You don't have to sit in it. You just allow it to move through you. Don't hang on to the thoughts. Don't hang on to the memories. Just allow them to process. It stops feeling like pain and eventually starts feeling more like love. And it can be quick. Some of them are quick. Some of them hurt a little more than others, but just process them. Trust me, just process them. You'll appreciate it. You'll feel so much stronger on the other end. You'll appreciate those times much more, because if you avoid it, you're just squishing it down. You're containing it, which means it's gonna try and come up later. So you're just extending the period of time in your life that you're experiencing that pain, when you can turn it into love. Because the thing is, the people who love you don't want you experiencing that type of pain your whole life. Like, feel sad, yes, that's great, but think of me fondly. I want my memories. I want your memories with me. My dad would want our memories with each other to be something we look back at lovingly, with gratitude. And that's what I do. Instead of looking back and just regretting things and always tearing myself down and crying hard and feeling like I can't move forward, that's putting a weight on your shoulders that you don't need to carry and that they wouldn't want you to. So if you're going through grief right now, if you're watching this, I really hope these tools help you, because it can be a lot. I know. But if you're going through grief right now, just know that there's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to rush. You don't need to fix. Just be with your grief and allow it to transform. This is alchemy. So when you hear the word alchemy, this is a type of alchemy. Taking darkness, turning it to light, taking grief, turning it to love, taking sadness, turning it to gratitude. These types of things. These are taking a state of condensed energy and freeing it. It's like turning ice into steam. Let it return back into the whole. Free yourself from the weight of the ice. But yeah, I'm going to end this episode by giving a little story about my dad that really sits with me every time I think about him. And anybody out there who is unsure, like maybe your dad or something, you're watching this and you have kids, we didn't have much, if anything at all, material wise. My dad didn't know how money worked. He told me very young as a kid, he said I have no idea what I'm doing with this stuff. At 16 years old, he said, you're basically where I'm at, so good luck. That's kind of what he said to me. And he brought love into all situations, no matter how dark, how hard things got. We didn't have a car at times. We walked to Walmart, it'd be miles every couple days, and he'd make it fun, he'd make it an adventure. We'd look forward to it because it was love. He made life exciting for us, even though it was a struggle. And the thing is, if you're a parent and you feel like, I don't know if I can do enough for my kids, I don't know, just love them. Love. Find out how they just love. Just be your authentic you, loving them, and it'll work out. No, even if as a kid, money means very little, but love means everything. And as you grow up, you teach them these things, and they evolve. But the love becomes like a cloak that helps them grow, even in dark times. This is what happened with me. I'm so grateful. Take a deep breath. More talking to myself, but you can too. But the story is, one day he came home from work. I had just come home from work too. I had 2 or 3 jobs at the time, helping him out with rent. We were in California. He comes home from work. And he says, hey Dave, I can't close my hand, but I gotta finish work. Can you tape this hammer to my hand? It almost feels like a dream looking back on this memory. And I said, what? He said, can you tape this hammer to my hand? I need to go finish work. He's like, I got a few more sheets of sheetrock to put up. I said, sure. And he takes the hammer. He's like, you gotta close my hand. I close his hand around the hammer, and then I tighten it with the duct tape. He's like, all right, thanks, Dave. He gets in his truck. He always had his truck. It's great. And he drives off with his wrist on the steering wheel and the hammer on the other one, driving to work. His hands literally couldn't close. And this man put in the work he needed. He had his problems and all that, I'm sure, no worries. But the thing is, he did what had to be done. And he still loved us no matter how dark it got. So just know, no matter how hard it gets, just keep moving forward. Find a purpose for yourself. Put a light out there in the forest somewhere, and then start paving a path. Grief, you're going to get through it. Process it. Overcome it. Harmonize with it. Learn that when grief arrives, it's just time for you to process. Time for you to sit with it and allow these memories to pop up. And here we go. I get to experience these beautiful moments again. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Let me know in the comments if you found any value in this. It's really helped me. Follow me on Instagram or TikTok at I am David Christensen. And I have a bunch of links down below. I have my website, davidsdoor.com, and I have my email list that you can sign up for. You'll see a Beacons link. You can click that, scroll down. You'll see an email subscribe section. Subscribe for my emails. I notify you when podcast episodes drop, and I send out a personal email every single Sunday, which I absolutely love to send you with a little bit of a personal message from me. With all that said, go out there and process that shit. All right. Stay awesome. All love. And I'll see you in the next one.